India is home to countless ancient mysteries. Hidden temples, forgotten kingdoms, and unexplained legends have fascinated people for centuries. But high in the Himalayas lies a place unlike any other. At an altitude of more than 16,000 feet, surrounded by snow-covered mountains, there is a small glacial lake known as Roopkund Lake. Today, the world knows it by another name, Skeleton Lake. Every year, when the snow begins to melt, something extraordinary appears. Hundreds of human skeletons emerge from the ice and the shallow waters of the lake. Skulls, bones, and personal belongings lie scattered across the landscape, preserved for centuries by the freezing Himalayan climate. There is no ancient battlefield nearby, no abandoned village, no cemetery, just hundreds of human remains resting around a lonely mountain lake. For decades, this discovery puzzled explorers, historians, archaeologists, and scientists. Who were these people? How'd they die? And why were so many bodies found together in one of the most remote places in India? Roopkund Lake is located in the Chamoli district of Uttarakhand, deep within the Indian Himalayas. Reaching the lake requires a challenging trek through forests, alpine meadows, rocky mountain trails, and snow-covered passes. Even today, only experienced trekkers are able to visit this mysterious location. The outside world first learned about the skeletons during the 20th century. As researchers carefully examined the site, they found something remarkable. Many of the skeletons were incredibly well preserved. Along with the bones, they discovered wooden objects, leather sandals, iron weapons, rings, and other personal belongings that had survived for hundreds of years because of the freezing temperatures. One detail immediately caught the attention of scientists. Many of the skulls showed similar round fractures on the top of the head. Surprisingly, the rest of the skeletons had very few serious injuries. What could have caused these unusual wounds? Was it a violent attack, a natural disaster, or something completely unexpected? For many years, no one had a clear answer. Then, modern science entered the investigation. Using archaeology, radiocarbon dating, and advanced DNA analysis, researchers uncovered evidence that completely changed our understanding of Roopkund Lake. What they discovered was far more surprising than anyone had imagined, because the skeletons were not all from the same period in history, and they were not all from the same part of the world. The real mystery of Skeleton Lake was only beginning. For many centuries, the frozen lake remained hidden beneath snow and ice. Very few people knew what lay deep in the Himalayas. In 1942, the mystery came to wider attention when a British forest ranger named H.K. Madwell reported finding numerous human skeletons around Roopkund Lake. At the time, the world was in the middle of the Second World War. British officials feared that the skeletons might belong to Japanese soldiers who had secretly crossed the Himalayas to enter India. An investigation was launched, but the evidence did not support that theory. The bones were far too old to belong to soldiers from the Second World War. As researchers continued their work, they realized they had discovered something much older and far more mysterious. Over the following decades, scientists, archaeologists, and mountaineers visited the lake to study the human remains. They found skeletons scattered around the shoreline and beneath the shallow water. Some skeletons were almost complete. Others have been separated over time by snow, ice, and natural movement. The freezing temperatures had preserved not only the bones, but also many personal belongings. Researchers discovered leather sandals, wooden walking sticks, iron spearheads, rings, beads, and pieces of clothing. These objects offered valuable clues about the people who had once traveled through these mountains. The lake itself is relatively small, measuring only about 40 meters across. It contained the remains of hundreds of people. This raised an even bigger question. Why would such a large group travel to one of the highest and most dangerous places in the Himalayas? Several theories began to emerge. One theory suggested they were soldiers marching through the mountains. Another proposed they were traders following an ancient route. Others believed they were pilgrims taking part in a religious journey. Local traditions also offered their own explanation. According to a well-known legend, a king named Jastaval was traveling with his family, dancers, and many followers on a pilgrimage to the sacred shrine of Nanda Devi. The legend says the group celebrated loudly and behaved disrespectfully in the sacred mountains. As punishment, the goddess Nanda Devi sent a devastating storm that killed everyone in the group. For generations, this story was passed down by local communities living in the region. But legends alone could not answer the mystery. Scientists needed evidence. As more detailed studies were carried out, researchers noticed something unusual. Many skulls had nearly identical round fractures on the top of the head. There were very few injuries to the arms, ribs, or legs. The pattern did not resemble injuries caused by swords or arrows. It also did not match the damage expected from an avalanche. The evidence suggested that something had struck the victims directly from above. But what could have caused such powerful blows? The answer would remain hidden for many years. It would take modern science, advanced technology, and one of the largest ancient DNA studies ever conducted in the Himalayas to uncover the truth. And what scientists discovered changed the entire story of Roopkund Lake. For many years, the mystery of Roopkund Lake remained unsolved. Scientists knew that hundreds of people had died near the lake, but they still did not know who they were or what had happened to them. As technology improved, researchers returned to Roopkund with new tools and new questions. The first step was radiocarbon dating. By studying the age of the bones, scientists hoped to determine when these people had lived. The results were surprising. Many of the skeletons dated back to around the 9th century, nearly 1,200 years ago. This discovery ruled out many earlier theories, including the belief that the remains belonged to soldiers from the Second World War. But one mystery still remained. What had caused the deaths of so many people at the same location? Scientists carefully examined the skulls. Again and again, they found the same pattern. Many victims had deep, rounded fractures on the top of their heads. The injuries were powerful, but limited mainly to the skull. There were very few broken arms or defensive wounds. This suggested that the victims had not died in hand-to-hand combat. Scientists proposed that a group of travelers may have been caught in an exceptionally severe hailstorm. According to their research, giant hailstones, possibly as large as cricket balls, could have fallen from the sky. With no trees, caves, or shelters nearby, the travelers would have been completely exposed. The heavy hailstones striking their heads from above could explain the unusual skull fractures found on many of the skeletons. This theory matched both the injuries and the local legend. Interestingly, the ancient story of goddess Nanda Devi describes a deadly storm sent from the sky. While the legend attributes the event to divine punishment, scientists believe it may preserve the memory of a real natural disaster that occurred centuries ago. But the investigation was not over. Just when researchers believed they had solved the mystery, a new discovery completely changed the story once again. Advanced DNA analysis revealed something that no one expected. The skeletons did not all belong to the same group of people. In fact, some of them came from places thousands of kilometers away from the Himalayas. The mystery of Roopkund Lake had become even more extraordinary. For decades, many researchers believed that the people at Roopkund Lake had died in a single tragic event. It seemed like the most reasonable explanation. A group of travelers caught in a violent hailstorm. One disaster, one moment in history. But modern science revealed a far more complicated story. In 2019, an international team of researchers carried out one of the most detailed ancient DNA studies ever performed on human remains from the Himalayas. The scientists analyzed DNA from dozens of skeletons found around the lake. They also used radiocarbon dating and chemical analysis to learn more about when these people lived and what they ate. The results were astonishing. The skeletons did not all belong to the same group. They were not even from the same period in history. One large group of individuals lived around the 8th to 10th centuries. Another smaller group lived nearly 1,000 years later, around the 17th to 20th centuries. This meant that the people had reached Roopkund Lake during completely different time periods. The DNA analysis revealed another surprise. Many of the earlier individuals had ancestry consistent with population for South Asia. But several individuals from the later group showed ancestry most similar to people from the Eastern Mediterranean region. This unexpected finding raised new questions. Why would people with distant ancestral backgrounds travel to such a remote Himalayan lake? At present, no definitive answer has been found. Researchers have proposed possibilities, but none have been confirmed. Roopkund continues to challenge historians, archaeologists, and scientists. Every new discovery answers one question while creating several new ones. Today, most researchers agree on one important point. Roopkund Lake is not the site of a single mysterious event involving one group of people. Instead, the evidence suggests that different groups reached the lake over many centuries. Some may have been pilgrims, others may have been travelers. Some may have died during extreme weather. For others, the exact cause remains unknown. The mystery has not completely disappeared. It has simply changed. Instead of asking who these people were, scientists are now asking why so many different groups arrived at the same isolated place over hundreds of years. Roopkund Lake still guards many of its secrets beneath the snow and ice. And perhaps future discoveries will reveal even more about the people who made their final journey into the Himalayas. After nearly a century of scientific research, Roopkund Lake remains one of India's most extraordinary archaeological sites. What began as the discovery of hundreds of skeletons hidden beneath snow and ice has become a story that connects history, archaeology, science, and local tradition. The evidence tells us that the people found at Roopkund did not all arrive at the same time. They belonged to different generations, lived centuries apart, and came from different ancestral backgrounds. Some may have been pilgrims crossing the Himalayas. Others may have been travelers whose stories have been lost to history. For some of the individuals, scientists believe that an extreme hailstorm may explain the injuries found on their skulls. For others, the exact cause of death is still unknown. Local legends tell a different story. For generations, people have spoken of the wrath of goddess Nanda Devi and a deadly storm that punished a group of travelers who showed disrespect in the sacred mountains. Whether this legend preserves the memory of a real natural disaster or is simply a story passed down through generations is something history cannot confirm. Roopkund reminds us that history is not always written in books. Sometimes it is preserved in ancient bones, forgotten paths, and places that remain untouched for centuries. Every scientific expedition has answered important questions, but it has also revealed how much we still do not know. The Himalayas continue to protect many of their secrets. Perhaps future discoveries, new technologies, and continued archaeological research will help us understand the lives of the people who made their final journey to this remote mountain lake. Until then, Roopkund remains one of the world's most fascinating historical mysteries. Not because of ghosts or supernatural legends, but because the real story is already extraordinary. Hundreds of people, separated by centuries, united by one isolated lake high in the Himalayas, and a mystery that continues to inspire historians, scientists, and explorers from around the world. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary and want to explore more real mysteries, forgotten history, and scientific investigations, subscribe to iDrama for more documentaries every week. Until next time, stay curious.